Alright everyone, I've got a juicy story for you about a band called Frog Dylan. Absolute wet wipes. Of course, it started at another Let Women Speak event. This time it was in Liverpool. So there's these guys yelling at women and they're having a great time. They look like they were at a concert or parade or something. It got a little bit tricky for the three guys in that video because there were photos going around of them screaming at women.
Come on, Wednesday! Come on, Wednesday! Off our street! Off our street! Take a picture of me, love. It doesn't intimidate me. I know you want it to intimidate me, but it really doesn't. I'm not asked. Off our street!
Ashley Bell was recognised because quite a few people knew him from the band Frog Dylan, and that's where we get into the juicy bit. So the worst thing about Ashley Bell being recognised on the internet is that he's got a little bit of a naughty past on the internet. He's been a naughty boy. Some of his tweets are not particularly savoury. So this is Ashley Bell, Ashley Bell 95 on Twitter. Never once heard any of you lot called a Birkenhead tranny brave. No one finds him inspirational. He even has his blue hair sometimes. Keep making eye contact with some girl at the bus stop and I reckon she thinks I fancy her. But do I fuck? She looks like a set of bollocks. Cheers la were the words I uttered in work yesterday prior to looking properly and realising I was talking to a fat lesbian. The Birkenhead tranny had a blue wig on this morning at the bus station. That's how I feel being up this early. Birkenhead tranny in a blue wig. It makes me sick when I see a retweet of a lad with about 8,000 followers speaking about how he cries and being all shit gay. It's unpleasant how girls have moustaches. I'll get on to the tweet that's got him in real trouble. This is the bad one. Okay, are you ready for the bad one? I can't wait to rape someone in Napa. It's a bit much, innit? I understand this like lad culture we used to have in England. There was a proper lad culture and I think jokes like that were not acceptable, but being edgy was kind of a thing. You know, yeah, 2015 he wrote this. So maybe he was being edgy and that was before everybody went all a bit mental with all this woke stuff. So I can imagine he thought he'd get away with that. He did not foresee that the tactics of historic sins would be used against him. I imagine he's someone that has previously supported digging through somebody's tweets to find their sins, and that is one of those be careful what you wish for situations, isn't it? And I don't think people on the woke left understand that. I know you're going to hate me for keep saying woke left, I know. But Frog Dylan got caught out from the videos that were going around from Let Women Speak in Liverpool. They had a gig in Liverpool which was being promoted by Harvest Sun, and that got cancelled. In light of recent events, the Frog Dylan gig on 24th of November we were promoting will be cancelled. Please contact the box office for refunds. This got a little bit confusing because a lot of people thought that this was being done because of what the guys did at the Let Women Speak event, and then it turned out that wasn't it. The reason the venue cancelled the gig was because of the rape tweet. The rape tweet nearly a decade ago when this guy was probably only about 15. Not that that makes it okay. That crosses the line, but screaming at women, calling them Nazis, that's fine.
I don't see one person there who wouldn't smash the victim up. I don't see one person there who wouldn't smash the victim up.
And it's a bit weird because I don't support cancel culture. And it is a little bit funny when people who do support cancel culture get cancelled themselves. This is from Frog Dylan. They wrote, "We didn't want to wade into this debate and draw attention away from the trans community." Is that really what they started with? What? You didn't want to wade into this debate, so you show up at Let Women Speak and scream at women? But you just didn't want any part of it, no? No, I don't want to be in this argument. I was just there to peacefully scream at women and intimidate them.
I don't see one person there who wouldn't smash the victim up.
Idiots. We didn't want to wade into this debate and draw attention away from the trans community who receives this kind of abhorrent abuse every day. I've never seen like a gathering of trans people in public and them being screamed at, threatened, intimidated, and in some cases even actually physically assaulted by women. I've never seen it happen. And if they're talking about online abuse, they're talking about normal people like me just going, nah, I don't believe in your religion, thanks. It might come as a bit of a shock for these guys, but that's not abuse. It's definitely not abhorrent, although that's a matter of opinion. I don't think it's abhorrent to believe in reality. However, there is a lot of anger, outlandish accusations, and out of context content being thrown our way on social media, and we now feel we should clarify what has actually gone on. Yeah, don't believe your own eyes, everybody. Everybody's lying about it, including the live video that live streamed it. Okie dokie. They're going to tell us what really happened. Okay, Frog Dylan, let's hear it. For those of you fortunate enough to come across alt-right Twitter, here we go with the alt-right thing again. I think what they really wanted to do was slip the word Nazi in, but they thought that might not be a great look to carry on with the Nazi theme. So we're going with alt-right. Now, I've never worked out what that means. I think it means you're on the right, but you're also alternative. So you listen to Slipknot and you wear baggy jeans, and sometimes you listen to Billie Eilish, but you're also on the right. Let me know in the comments. Those of you unfortunate enough to come across alt-right Twitter might have seen Frog Dylan being named women haters, amongst other things, for supporting our trans comrade in opposition to the rally down the docks on Sunday 8th of October. Okay, let's rewind. Woman haters. I mean, I think people have a right to call you a woman hater if you're screaming at them, you're telling them they're Nazis, you're telling them to fuck off, you're calling them fascists. I think some women would have a right, or all women, in fact, would have a right to look at that behaviour and say, I think he don't really like women very much. So there is that. I mean, if you don't want to be called a woman hater, maybe don't go out of your way to intimidate women in public. I don't know. That's just an idea, but don't ask me anything. I'm just a woman. I don't know nothing. What gets me about this one as well is we're just doing these things to support our trans comrades. So there we are with the war talk again. I've talked about this before. I don't agree with this. We've got to fight for trans people. You've got to show solidarity. You've got to be an ally. An ally for what? An ally is somebody you deploy and send out to kill people for you. That's what an ally is. A comrade? What is a comrade? A comrade is a fellow soldier or member of the armed forces. A fellow socialist or communist. That's where my mind went. Socialist or communist. I didn't want to say it though and be like, all those communists on the left are trying to destroy everything. They are, but I don't want to moan about it too much because we can pull this back and I have a lot of hope and I'm a very optimistic person. We will not apologise for countering the despicable rhetoric of Kelly J. Keane Minshall, who goes by the name of Posey Parker. We will always stand for what we believe in our proudly inclusive city, and therefore decided not to hide our identities when opposing her at the Let Women Speak rally. So, you know, they're saying that Liverpool is really inclusive. Fine, I don't know what that means, because to me, inclusive is another word in their vocabulary that I can't take seriously. Because whenever somebody says something is inclusive, what they mean is they don't want heretics in their space. That Liverpool is an inclusive city, therefore women who know what a woman is shouldn't be there. Because that's the implication I get when I read things like this space is inclusive or this city is inclusive. It means it's not welcoming to anybody who's not worshipping this religion. So they've done us a favour by not hiding their identities because they're so heroic and brave, fighting for the cause on the right side of history, getting in there, telling those slags to get lost. Was that a bit much? As cis white males, with the cis word, I mean, it's not a thing, is it? Oh, fuck's sake. I'll do that another time. As cis white males, we are indeed regretful that our support and attendance and this statement itself may be taking some agency, support and attention that trans rights and the trans community needs right now. But we are far from there to intimidate women. Okay, so you weren't there to intimidate women. You were just there to block them in, to scream in their faces, call them fascists, tell them they're not welcome, call them Nazis.
I don't see one person there who wouldn't smash the bitch them up with
That's not intimidating at all whatsoever. You would be totally fine with someone doing that to your mother or your sister or your daughter. Yes, don't say no, because that's not intimidating according to you. And you're just there for the right thing. You're there to support the trans community. Don't know what that is. Old men who have got a fetish because they've watched way too much porn have absolutely nothing in common with teenage girls who hate their bodies and they're on the... Ghost. Definitely a ghost. Justin fell on his face. Are you looking for some truly awful, bigoted, hateful propaganda? Do you want to buy some stickers that trans activists can never peel off? Do you like disgusting quotes and opinions? What about artists who appropriate queer culture? If this sounds like something you're into, visit my website. My art allegedly causes real world harm. TheFamousArtistBirdieRose.com. TheFamousArtistBirdieRose.com.
Woman, add a human female.
Where were we? Old men who have watched a lot of pornography and have a fetish for imagining themselves as the women in pornography that they've been watching have absolutely nothing in common with teenage girls who are insecure about their bodies, experiencing self-hatred, going through a difficult time, entering into puberty and their place in the world. Nothing in common. So what is this trans community they speak of? Anyway, what the selective content used against us online, selective content as in we just picked out the worst bits. We didn't clip out the bits where they were singing Kumbaya and giving out biscuits and tea to women and telling everyone that they're all for peace and love. We clipped out the bit where they're screaming at women just to be nasty to them. Evil, weren't we? Evil. What the selective content used against us online won't show you is that we stood with a much larger crowd that consisted of a majority of women counter-protesters. Look, we can all see the videos and it is mostly men. When they say majority women, I think they mean men, don't they? Because they believe that men are women. So they mean men who are claiming to be women. It is possible to support all non-male people at the same time, as we have and always will do. There you go. They say women, they mean men, and everybody else is non-male. Fucking arseholes. It was an extremely sad event to be involved in. So sad. Sad, isn't it? It's so sad that your Sunday afternoon has to be spent standing around outside screaming at women. I mean, it's slightly more sad than my Sunday afternoon being spent sitting in the corner in front of my bookshelf talking to my camera on my own. It was an extremely sad event to be involved in, and we by no means felt great coming away from it. We witnessed two sides, here we go with the two sides, weaponised against each other, playing their role in a culture war that has been stoked endlessly by our corrupt and malicious government. Right, Frog Dylan, let me stop you there. I'm not a fan of the government, but this hasn't necessarily begun with the government. This came from guys like you pretending that there's men and non-males. We're the non-males, you're the men, and all the men who are claiming to be women are women. That's your fucking fault. That's not the government. The government obviously could have done more to put their foot down on it and stop you lot from having a go. But it's not because of the government that people like you believe in this shit. And that people like you who do believe in this shit can't stand people like us not believing in your shit. The government didn't tell you to do that. You decided that. But I digress. This government have preyed upon people from all backgrounds in order to distract them from the most pressing issues at hand. God, they've enough gone on, haven't they? They didn't need to put all this. We see these divide and rule tactics again and again. Okay, so the government is getting people from all different backgrounds and telling them that men are men and women are women, which actually, to be fair, the government did say that the other day. Rishi Sunak did say that. So the government have told us all that humans cannot change sex in order to divide us so they can conquer us in something else. That makes no sense. Now that we have addressed our stance and reason for attendance at this event, they haven't addressed it. They didn't say why they went there. They said that we're not intimidating women, we're just sticking up for the trans community and the government made us do it. It is with great gravity and responsibility we must also address another matter at hand. So we've had all these tweets, like 20 tweets or something, to address the fact that women are evil and they're alt-right and they're fascist and Posey is awful and trans people are like in need of being protected and we need to like protect the community and go to war for them and all this stuff. All of that. And now finally, like the last 3 tweets to address the rape tweet from Ashley Bell. That's amazing. Absolutely shows where their priorities are. After our doxing from the event, can I just stop there, right? You go to a public event and it's been live streamed and people recognise you from the live stream and pictures are taken of you at a public event in a public place and they go online and people recognise you as being in a band. That's not what doxing is. But then again, they use the word doxing the same way they use the word woman. It's completely fucking meaningless to them. After our doxing from the event, deeply problematic and indefensible historic tweets from Ashley Bell have surfaced and we must therefore announce that Ashley will no longer be part of our band moving forward. Excellent. So they've cancelled one of their own as well, throwing their own to the wolves. So we believe in accountability. What they mean by that is punishment, and responsibility. Punishment. And these historic tweets that we had no idea about, of course you didn't, mate, have caused significant harm. Have they? I mean, who's been harmed? I mean, unless he actually did what he's gloating about, and have no place in our band's principles and values. What's great about when people bang on about their principles and values is they never outline what those principles and values are. They just bang on about trans and then principles and values. I don't know what that means. We express our sincere commitment to fostering an inclusive, there we go again, an inclusive and respectful environment for our fans. Inclusive and respectful, like turning up at a women's event in public and screaming at them. Okay. For our fans, friends, family, and as such we have made the decision alongside Ashley to part way. Isn't it sinister how they always make it sound like this was a mutual agreement and that Ashley didn't go, oh no, fuck off, that's well out of order. Don't sack me, I've been in your band forever, I've done all this work for you, I fucking own these songs, I've done this and that, I'll get lost, it was only a tweet. As if Ashley just went, oh, do you know what, I'm a bad person, I'll step down. That ain't what happened. Moving forward, all of our shows are cancelled and refunds will be issued from wherever any tickets were bought. We are destroyed as people at this stage and will be taking some time away for our mental health's sake. What makes me laugh about that is that these absolute bullies always, and this has happened to me before, when I got cancelled, the guy who cancelled me, he went after me, got all these other people to go after me, lied about me for years, but on the day that he started his online campaign against me, he basically threw a firebomb into my life and then had fucking nerve at the end of the day to say he's taking a social media break because he can't cope with all the hate, because it's too much, he needs to have a mental health break, he's going on holiday. So you throw a firebomb into somebody that you used to be friends with, you throw a firebomb into their life, you lie about them, you destroy them and take their livelihood, and then you claim that you're the one who's affected and you need to go on holiday to take a mental health break. And that's what these fuckers act like all the time. So I'm not surprised that Frog Dylan has turned around after attending a women's event, intimidating these women. And some of these women, they might be seasoned in going out to events, they might even be seasoned in getting screamed at by men, they might be used to it by now, but a lot of women ain't. And for a lot of women, that is scary and that can be traumatic, and a lot of women feel pretty shaken up after they've been screamed at by these men or blocked in by these men who are intimidating them. You have not one thought for those women while you're claiming that you need to take a mental health break. You do not see the abuse that you inflict on other people, and you consider any sort of having to face your own actions as being harm done to you. That is incredible narcissism, and this is toxic. So, this is how it started. The lads stay out, arena go at the women, putting those slags in their place, and this is how it ended. What, we need a mental health break because we're suffering. Absolute wankers. See you later.
Early in the morning, as the sun comes up, I just wanna have a cup. There's one drink, that's the one for me. Won't you please make me a cup of